within a minute, just standing at the front of the store, begin to map out the gender division.
It's always usually separate, like you can tell, by like the age group.
Right, it's represented by gender, and you can usually tell. I mean, to me, I think it's still, I haven't been in a toy store for a while, but the last time I was in one, I remember, I looked down the aisles, and where I saw pink, I knew, that was going to be the Barbies and the baby dolls and, the carriages and stuff. And then where I saw, at that point, it was already camo, right? So you see the difference between pink and camo. And of course, the camo is the boys' aisle. Okay, so toys are a socializing factor, right? Kids are told which toys to play with. Now, this is not always the case, especially since the days of feminism. Many parents have begun to try to, be a lot more open and democratic about gender roles and not emphasize appropriate gender toys. Girls can play with trucks, boys can play with dolls. Doesn't matter, whatever they want to pick up, right? But clearly the toy manufacturers expect certain things, and so things are still placed in front of kids. When they go out into beyond the family, they're going to encounter other kids who are traditionally socialized in other toys and so forth in school. We'll give them these messages. Media images also are powerful. Very powerful gender issues. You can see Lenore Weitzman's famous study was done in the 1970s. So this was really sort of in the heyday of second wave feminism. But Weitzman and her colleagues did a textual analysis of children's books, right? So media, so books that were directed toward children. And I can tell you, even earlier than this, and I'm sure Weitzman and her colleagues had this experience. When I was a little kid, we had books like Nurse Nancy. I remember now. I think Nurse Nancy was actually my sister's book, right? But we shared things, so we would read Nurse Nancy. And in Nurse Nancy, of course, Nancy is the little girl in the family, and her brother and his friends are in the book as well. And so the brother and the friends are out playing baseball, because boys are active and they're out playing in the yard. And they hit the baseball and it hits a beehive. And the bees come out and sting the boys. And the boys all run in. And Nancy's playing in the house. And so
Real nigga politician.
The book, I remember the book
Bitch.
had Band-Aids. That's always a cool thing.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Close to gay shit.
Is that another one? Yeah, well, notice Nurse Nancy and Dr. Dan. And of course, in terms of gender roles, in terms of occupational roles, to this day, there's a pretty strong division in gender between, which gender predominates in the ranks of medical doctors and which predominates in the ranks of nurses. This has changed some, but it's still very, very high proportion. So socialization then not only tells, appropriate behavior, but also expectations. Just before I move on from this, I want to make clear that gender and gender behavior, like I said, are very subtle sorts of things. And they involve, later this week, we're going to start talking about social interaction. And they involve very subtle parts